welcome to the show. He is all the way from Birmingham, Alabama. He is with Pick6sports.com, and he is with WVTM TV out of Birmingham, Alabama. He is none other than Peter Lancaster. Welcome to the show, Peter.
Hey, greetings from Birmingham, gentlemen. What is going on?
All right, man. It is NFL time, if it ain't none other. Yes,
it's
sir.
in the air, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can smell the pigskin in the air, as well as the entries as well in the air. But, you know, it is NFL time. And kind of talk about, Peter, real quick, about Pick6sportsshow.com and the stuff you guys got up there right now.
Yeah, tonight we got another podcast. Tonight we're going to preview the AFC East. We're going to talk all about the Dolphins, Patriots, the Jets, and the Bills. We kind of wrapped up them by the middle of the week last week. So tonight we're going to, at 10 o'clock, we'll be on Blog Talk Radio. So y'all check us out at 10 o'clock, and we'll have that up and running. And some of the other previews we got going on, we have the NFC East. We'll have that finished this week, and possibly the NFC North also. We possibly might have all those before the week's through. So we're right in the middle of it, man. We're trying to get them all in before September 5th.
Awesome. And, you know, I definitely appreciate the link you guys have on you guys' page about Talkback Live Sports to our Twitter page. We definitely appreciate that shout-out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, of course, man. All family and friends, man. I consider y'all my Memphis family there, and I appreciate everything y'all do for us, and give y'all a little plug there online and send people right back to your Twitter, and that way they can find all your links and know who's coming on your shows.
Awesome. And, you know, speaking of Pick 6 Sports, you know, I read here, get all my information from you guys now. It's really a great website. You guys, all your analysts go into great detail, guys like that. And, you know, I seen you wrote an article on the Dallas Cowboys season preview. Peter, kind of talk about that a little bit and your thoughts on that.
Yeah, Cowboys are kind of an intriguing team this year. You know, they had a really good, high-powered offense last year. Just, you know, the thing about Romo, I mean, Romo had, you know, numbers stat-wise, he had his best year of his career, but it was at 19 interceptions. You know, it plagued them late in games, in crucial games. They had 2 games they had to win last year to make the playoffs, and they lost both of them. But the Cowboys are one of those teams that they get that figured out, you know, how to close games and not have Romo turn the ball over in some of those games. They got the weapons there. I mean, they got Miles Austin and Dez Bryant, and they got Jason Witten, and you know, if DeMarco Murray could stay healthy, you know, they got a pretty strong team offensively, and you know, that was the big thing going in this off season when they let, you know, Bob Ryan go, and they brought in, you know, Monte Kiffin, and his guys he got there, like Rod Marinelli, his defensive line coach. He's a great defensive mind. So, you know, that team, they could turn it around. They switched to a 4-3 defense from a 3-4 scheme. You know, so there's little tweaks they got to make to their lineup. But, you know, look, top to bottom, you know, they're not going to have, you know, they're going to have a pretty strong year next year. The only thing where they're a little weak is at safety. They got a lot of inexperience at safety. And that might be a weakness of their team. But on offense, they're probably going to be one of the better offensive stat-wise, one of the best teams in the league next year.
Peter, I honestly feel that the Cowboys have a chance to win anywhere from 10 to 12 games. But on offense, they have to get the ball out of Romo's hands a lot of times. He can constantly be throwing the ball on every possession because it's like defenses have figured Dallas out. They know that Dallas is not going to run the ball, so they know Romo is going to go deep to Dez Bryant, Miles Austin, or he's going to cut to the middle to Jason Witten. They know he's going to throw the ball, so that's Dallas' problem on offense. If they fix that problem, and I'm a Giants fan, and I hope they don't fix that problem, but but if they do fix that problem, yes, they will win between 10 to 12 games and possibly win that division.
They got a good chance as any to really come out of that division, but it's going to be a highly contested. I mean, a lot of people are sleeping on Philly right now, but it would not surprise me if Philly was kind of the surprise team out of that division.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to have the same exact win total they had last year, but I wouldn't be surprised if Philly is 8-8 at the end of this season and really being just ruin the party for for their other rivals there in the division. It would not surprise me at all.
Yeah, you look at that division every year. It always seems somebody spoils the party for somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
And go ahead, Philip. I know you.
No, I was just going to agree with that.
Yeah.
But, Peter, I was going through y'all's Pick Six sports page right now, and y'all are talking about the Chicago Bears today. Y'all are previewing them right now. Give us what do y'all expect out of them? I think the one thing that's not helping Jay Cutler is he has no offensive line. If he can get an offensive line around him, they could be a very dangerous team.
Right. No, I agree, and that's kind of been their downfall the last 2 years is these late pushes they have. When the season gets going, the injuries start rolling up. They just don't have enough depth, talented depth at that, to keep Cutler on his feet instead of on his back, And Cutler, too, he kind of gets, I don't know, it's like some games he kind of mentally checks out a little bit, too. He gets just a little, frustrated, and it takes him out of the game. So it'll be really interesting to see if Trestman can help him out with that, help him keep focused and not get discouraged so easily. It just seemed like there was just that middle block there for him late in games. And a lot of it wasn't his fault.
Right.
You get hit as much as he gets hit. I would get mad, too. But the Bears did make some minor moves. Travis Hodges, my writer, he's the one that previewed the Bears. I thought he did a really good job. And they did make some minor moves on their offensive line for guys they brought in. I don't know if that would be major improvements, but the Bears have a real good chance. They're in that division. Their defense is always going to be stout. Their defense is always going to show up. Now, granted, they did lose some players here and there, with Urlacher and some other guys not returning. But Chicago, they're always going to be known for their defense. So, these late games they got to play, like in Green Bay, a lot of these outside games. I think that's where they're going to lean on this year. But, the Bears are going to be one of those teams. I think they're kind of like the Cowboys. If certain things can go their way, I would not be surprised if he built those teams in the playoffs this season.
Now, my problem, Peter, with Jay Cutler is that every time he looks to throw the ball, he looks to only throw it to Brandon Marshall.
Okay.
I'm not understanding that. I'm like, I should have sworn you have a tight end and other receivers on the field that can get open as well. You
right.
throwing in the preseason game. I mean, come on, two guys covering Brandon Marshall, and you still try to throw it to him.
Right.
I'm like, this ain't Madden football. If it was Madden, most likely he would catch it.
Right.
It's a chance. I mean, Jay Cutler need to stop trying to feed him the ball so much, trying to please him. He needs to try to actually win the game and make smarter decisions with the ball, because he's another quarterback in the NFL that has a tendency of finishing the season with almost 20 interceptions.
Oh, definitely.
I mean,
But that's also a challenge that guys like Alshon Jeffrey, now they got a little time in the lead, they're going to have to answer that bell. They got to get open.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of it. That's why Cutler ends up on his back, because he's in that predicament too often where he's going to have to force it into Marshall. So guys like Alshon Jeffrey, I wouldn't be surprised. This new coaching staff coming in, it seems like they're a little more focused on offense, because their defense is their defense. You know what I mean? Like there's not much more they can do to improve that defense from what it's been in the last decade that I've been keeping up with football as tightly as I have. I would not be surprised though to see guys like Jeffrey and some of those other younger players get a bigger chunk of the offense geared towards them to kind of take some of the pressure off of Cutler and to help out Marshall to get him open. So he's not double or triple teamed. They gotta have a viable threat to lighten the load on Marshall too.
Yeah, definitely. That division is going to be interesting as well. I mean, it's a lot really, several interesting division races, but that one in particular, where you have Detroit, who constantly seems to get better and better. They might have fixed their running game problem with Reggie Bush. You never know. Will he be what they wanted Javid Best to be in Detroit? And Matthew Stafford throwing for 5,000 yards up there. And then you have, of course, the Packers, who are the monsters of that division. And Minnesota, which I really think is just going to be the bottom feeders this year, regardless of what happens. But you never know. What are your thoughts on that division?
You think Minnesota will kind of take a step back this year?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I just don't believe in Ponder at all.
Really?
I don't.
Okay.
I mean...
Got a new wide receiver with Greg Jennings.
Greg Jennings, I think he's going to come in motivated.
Clearly, I mean, since it seems like he hated
They
Green
still
Bay,
have the best running back in the league right now, and Adrian Peterson.
who carried them to the playoffs,
He did.
you know, on his back, and I just don't think he could do that again. He had that.
See, I like some of the moves that the Vikings made, though.
I do,
think
too.
Cordero Patterson, I
Yeah,
think he's going to
yes.
kind of fill in. Now, he's not going to take over what Harvin gave him completely. I'm not crazy enough to say that. But I think he will be electric enough to kind of give them a kind of a highlight reel guy, a guy that you got to keep an eye on. And I think that's going to help Ponder out because last year, let's face it, I mean, Minnesota really didn't have that many options at wide receiver. So now you bring in Jennings. You bring in a guy, has had a stellar career there, for the rival there for the Packers, and you bring in a guy like Patterson who could do little things here and there to kind of open up the offense. I think the addition of those two guys is going to make Adrian Peterson even just a little more dangerous this year. I'm not saying he'll have the same year he had last year,
Right.
because that's lightning in a bottle. That rarely happens. But I think it will help him in some of these other games to where teams won't just focus in on him. I think Minnesota might repeat the same record they had last year.
All right, Peter Lancaster, Birmingham, Alabama. You hang on, we'll be back. And welcome back to Talkback Live Sports. And our guest is Peter Lancaster. He is with Pick6Sports.com. You check him out tonight at 10 on Blog Talk Radio. And they're going to be making all their picks and NFL talk tonight. And if anybody knows NFL, you better believe Peter Lancaster knows it. Welcome back, Peter.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, definitely.
You guys see how I did that?
Yeah, see, I knew you were doing that deliberately. I was just waiting on you to point it out.
Welcome back, Peter.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me, guys.
And, I also see, which I know you guys are going to talk about later on your radio show, but you wrote about the Jets. Now, the Jets, to me, a team that's an absolute joke of a franchise right now. And I know Courtney can't wait to get in on this one, but real quick, Peter, what are your thoughts on them, just looking at them?
It's a disaster, man. I mean, it's a complete disaster. I feel bad for Jets fans because they should have made a move to separate themselves from Sanchez. To bring back Sanchez and Ryan, that was unfair, really, to the fans. And then on top of that, you trade their best player they've had in over a decade, probably even longer than that, Darrelle Revis. And yes, they did get a first-round pick out of it. But they got a defensive end, Sheldon Richardson, who might make a difference, but probably won't. And yes, Revis, kind of had some injuries here and there the last two seasons, but still, he was, the best cover corner in the league. And I know it might be debatable with some other names, but I mean, he's definitely on a short list of top players. And then they didn't re-sign Bart Scott. It sounds like he's going to retire. Sounds like he's taking an analyst job for Fox Sports 1. There's some other minor moves they made, and they didn't really go out and really bring anybody back in. They lost their top running back, Sean Green, the last two seasons. Dustin Keller, I mean, obviously now he's hurt with Dolphins, but they kind of let him go. And they didn't really make any kind of moves to improve their roster at all. So I don't see how that franchise thinks this team's going to improve their record from last year. I really don't. In fact, I think they'll have a worse record than they did. They finished up 6-10 last year, and I'd be surprised if they win 5 games this year, to be honest.
Peter, I honestly agree with you on that. 5-11 is their record for next season. I didn't see much in Sanchez when he was at USC. The only thing I saw at USC that he had great talent around him. He was in the right system to get to the NFL, just like the guy before him that won the Heisman.
Matt Leinart.
Matt Leinart. He was just in the right system to get to the NFL, to get that spotlight that that a lot of quarterbacks need coming out of college. And I said to myself, Sanchez is nothing because, I mean, of course, you when you got every year Pete Carroll had the best set of receivers in the country. Then you had 3 or 4 good running backs. I mean, not only you had Reggie Bush, you had 3 or 4 other good running backs.
Lindell White.
And you had Lindell White. So I'm like, of course, USC is going to win 10 to 12 games each year because he's able to get the talent. And Sanchez was in a great position, and we see what he's made of now in the NFL. the 2 years he went to the AFC Championship, the Jets went to the AFC Championship game, it wasn't all because of him. It was really because of their defense.
That defense.
That defense made up for what Sanchez couldn't do. And after that defense kind of went into a slump, you saw Sanchez was that same quarterback, can't get the ball 15 yards down the field. I mean, that butt fumble, I mean, that sums up his career.
Sadly enough, that will be in his Wikipedia page forever.
Well, see, that's the thing, though, about Sanchez. He had so much success early with him going to 2 straight AFC Championship games that it's really handicapped him now because when you set the bar so high, when you don't make the playoffs 2 years in a row, everybody's kind of looking around like, what's going on? And that's kind of what happened with him and Rex Ryan was, to their detriment, though, that bar was raised so high early on in their stint there in New York. And you know how New York is. I mean, they expect the best, it's New York City for crying out loud. So anywhere else, Sanchez, this might not be such a big deal, but they're in New York with the spotlights on, especially the Jets kind of playing second fiddle behind the Giants already in New York. This does not help the situation at all, especially with Coughlin winning Super Bowls there with Eli Manning.
Yeah, definitely. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Jets have going forward. And I know this year, even with Geno Smith, who I really think may end up being a bust, in my opinion. I know it's no help around him, but I just don't see it with me personally with Geno Smith. He has talent, but what are your thoughts on him real quick, Peter?
I don't mind Geno Smith, but I don't think this is the right situation to throw him in right away. You might as well just sink on the ship with Mark Sanchez. And, Geno might get in later in the season, but right now this team doesn't have a clear-cut running back. You're going to put a rookie quarterback back there? I don't know, man. It's not a good situation for a young rookie quarterback. They might as well just take their lumps this year and see what happens with Sanchez.
Yeah, I mean, who is their running back? As a matter of fact, that's a good question. I have no clue.
That's the thing. They got this young guy named Powell, and they traded for Chris Ivory from the Saints, who might end up being a decent running back for him. He kind of played spot minutes there for the Saints.
Mm.
All right, Peter Lancaster out of Birmingham, Alabama. He'll be on tonight, Blog Talk Radio, 10 p.m., pick6sports.com. Hey, Peter, thanks for joining us, man.
Oh, thank you, guys. Thank y'all so much, man. And I'm real happy for y'all with all the new sponsors, man. I got to get brushed up on all my law firm buddies there, man. I got to brush up and know what I'm talking about, man. I got Judge Howard's on tomorrow morning, man. I'm excited to hear about that.
Yes, indeed. It's going to be a good one. Thanks, man.
Oh, no problem. Y'all have a great day.
All right.